Hi friends, it's Pat Sloan here on Block Wednesday. It's our block of the week. Home is. I'm excited for this one. I'm excited for what the topic is and also because it is a churn dash. These are little mini 6-inch churn dash, 6-inch finish, 6.5 before you put it in your quilt. It is my favorite block of all time. I really like this little block. It can look different depending on what you do, so hold on a minute and I will show you another version because we're making 2 of these for the quilt. But first let me tell you the topic. I'll hold it up here for a second. So the topic today is the long and winding road. So for home is part of being at home and is sounds. And sounds are very powerful memory triggers, you know, things that we remember. They're things that make us cozy. You might say crackling fireplace. You know, you hear your mom put her glasses down on the table and that little sound that glasses make. So, you know, there's sounds that are really important, not just voices, you know, other kinds of sounds. And one of them for me is that driveway. When you come up a driveway, some driveways you generate a sound. Like a gravel driveway has a really particular sound to it. And coming home is cozy. Coming home is hygge. Coming home is something many of us look forward to doing every day, or it might be a period of time before you're able to go home to where that is. So I want to hear today if there's something about the long and winding road that you remember. Do the dogs bark, you know, when you're driving home, they're barking that they're welcoming you home, or in our case, our dogs would bark blocks from the house. Somehow they just knew the house was coming up and they would start to bark like crazy in the car. It was so funny. We were just like, oh no, so 3 blocks to the house and they're just going berserk to get home. It might be that the type of macadam that comes up to the house has a particular sound that's different than what you normally drive on. Or people might come out and say, hello, you know, welcome you home, and that's a wonderful sound. So we're going to celebrate the long and winding road up to your home, and I'd love to hear of those sounds that you celebrate. Now, one thing about the churn dash is that it's versatile. So this quilt takes 2 of them, and here I did it in a second color with switching the lights and the darks. So I call this the dash. See the white part here and the blue part here? That part of the block I called the dash. Why? I don't know. I just need to reference it. So that's what I've always called it. That's the dash part. So flipping it is really cool. You will find if you look in at old patterns, and I'm sure it's in the Encyclopedia of Piece Quilt Blocks by Barbara Brackman, is that if you change the center, like the center here, if that is another color, then it's called hole in the barn door. So depending on color placement, sometimes the names of the blocks were changed. And of course, if you do any research, you're going to find that blocks have multiple names. There isn't just one Bible of names. You know, some blocks just have one name, but many were called different things depending on where they were published, or just like nowadays you'll find a lot of people, like I name all of these. This is the long and winding road because that's the name of our project, and it goes with our project. So that is your cool block for today, and you're going to make 2. Let's go look at mine. I got them all up on the wall. Now here is the pattern for laying it out. So that, remember, that's a separate pattern, is the layout with all the directions for all the little sashing pieces. And so I'm at the point where I could start building a few more of the sashing pieces. I'm not, you know, like this. I'm going to put the light colored one up here with the white background, and the white dash with the darker background will go, it's down here somewhere. I'll just stick it down there for now. But we have another block in here, and there's some, other blocks here, but I can start cutting some of these sashings, particularly this longer strip over here, and sort of get some colors going. I have a lot of the background fabric here in these blocks, so I want to put some sashings to break that up, some of the different blue fabrics. Like I love this dot that I used up here, so I definitely want to use that again down there, and maybe I'll even use it a third time. Plus I have the flying geese unit that I need to make the other two of those, and I will make them the same way. I'm going to make them the same way as that one, which is dark on the outside, so the geese, the pointy part, is light. That's what I want to do for those. So that is up on the wall, and at my website today I have a picture of that so that you can go over, and if you have not done any of the setting yet, download your separate pattern. In the back of this isn't the right one, this is an older one, but in the back of the pattern I show you where the block goes. This is from a previous one, but in order to get all this cutting, it's on the other sheet. Okay, now I got in a new book stand. This just came out at the Fat Quarter Shop, and so I thought I would show it to you since it's brand new, and some of you love these metal ones. They're a little bit bigger, so it can hold a bigger book, it can hold a bigger tablet. This one is also metal, so what's nice is that you can do magnets. So this is one of the needle keepers, which is a magnet, and so if you have magnets on here, you are able to use a magnet to put your paperwork on there. And so because it's metal, that is a super neat feature. So here it is. Getting it out of its nice, this is a great box that you can just keep it in. So you don't need to, get rid of that box. I think it's a great box if you're not going to leave it up all the time. And so it just has a little metal stand. So for storing it, it's thin like this. It just has this lip that doesn't fold up, but it's pretty thin. And then here you go. So you can put your design board in there. Then if you want to clip papers with the magnet, you can do that. So those are brand new. They used to have them in turquoise, and then they discontinued that, and now they've brought it back with the pink. I like the pink. Okay, so let me just move that over to the side. So you had fun yesterday on the scrap busting, your scrap IQ. Lots of fun comments, and then in the Facebook group, I loved seeing some of you were showing pictures of your scrap quilts, or just telling me that you don't do scrap quilts. That's like, it was so fun. It's so fun to see. Speaking of scrap quilts, the other day when I was demoing with these blue and white checkerboards, so I got this unit put together, and then I decided, well, I don't know if I want to start another checkerboard right now, because I have another bunch of stuff that's sort of in progress, so I really don't want to start this as a starting and ending for sewing. So I think I'm going to go and put it up here in my basket that has the bags for leftover blocks. All those sort of leftover blocks that didn't get put into something, it will go in the bag with the blue and white. And then if I decide I want to continue this later, I can just go in there and get it out. So that is what I'm going to do with it. You have to have a plan for this stuff, Now our March Hope. So here is the row going on for this week. 4 blocks. Here is the one for today with the pineapples. I really love this fabric. This big floral with the dots, so cute. And then here, this is the one that cracked me up. I put a cat, and then I have this fabric with fish. See the seaweed and the fish? I don't know, just feel like the cat looking into the bowl, the fish bowl. Crazy. The other thing is, I said I would get my binding. Well, I got to cut. The binding for the Florida quilt is cut. So I'm going to put a picture of the Florida quilt top right here. It is quilted, but I will wait till I get the binding on, and then I have to go put it up on a stand in order to take a picture because it's quite big. And I'll have to do it in my driveway because I don't want it to go in the dirt in the back on the clothesline. So I have this done, but what I thought I would tell you is that I got it out and I have white or cream in the sewing machine. I thought, no, I do not want to sew this with the cream. So I had to go find the thread that I'll be putting it on with. And I have a really great match with my Orifil thread for this teal. It's a dark teal. So that's next on the agenda to get that, because the quilt is trimmed. The big bed quilt, Florida quilt, is trimmed, so I can put that on. And the next will be doing the pillow shams. Don't know if I'll get those this month. I mean, yeah, this month even. I hope so. I want to. All right, what else? Okay. Another big thing that I did on Monday, we had a discussion about quilt tops for charity. So I asked, do you know of a place, do you know places, and of course you do, that take just the tops, because those of us who make tops just for the joy of making the tops, but we don't really want to quilt them, we don't have really people to give them to, we want to be able to find places that we can give these quilt tops. So I have gotten some suggestions. Some are national, like Project Linus and Quilts of Valor, where you need to contact the individual chapters that you want to talk to, because they're all run separately under this umbrella. And then there's some organizations that you can just contact them directly and say you have this to send, that they are known to take tops. You always want to check, because maybe right now they have something going on that they can't take them, but you should always check with everybody before you send anything to them, so they know it's that you're contributing and that they still can accept it. And so I now have a page, and there's one international so far, which is in Canada. For all of you that are watching from the other countries, from Norway, from Spain, from Mexico, from Australia, if you have, from France, if you have a place, of the UK, if you have places where they'll take tops for charity, I will list them on there and put your country so that people will know where to send. It's expensive to send. I've grouped, I think it's 4 regions, and I put the state under each region. Tops are more difficult to find someplace where there are people who will quilt them. So they are not going to be as extensive a list. And all of those places will also take finished quilts. So if you also want to send a finished quilt to them, you can. And some of them will take supplies. So you need to write them and ask. Some will take, fabric, because or threads or batting, of course. So you want to check. But it's a great list. I thank all of you who've written me. Those who wrote about the national one, I just sort of, there's too many of you who wrote Project Linus. But the ones who sent me individuals, I put your comment that you shared with me, put your first name, like Sharon said, and then the little comment about your association, what you know of them, so that people can have a sense of this came from one of our friends here, came from our community. And it's great. I'm really excited to have that reference there. You can also find it from I Love to Make Quilts. From that page, it is on there, and this is what the square looks like that you're looking for in the table. And I hope you go over and check it out and start sending out those tops that you've accumulated, so they can become wonderful, wonderful quilts, and go and give somebody a lovely hug from all of us, right? From you, particularly, since you made the top. All right, my friend, you are doing baby churn dashes today. Lift up there so you can see it. Little churn dashes, they're fast, they're fun. You can't make just one. All right, I'm Pat Sloan. Look down below for the links in the description box. Thank you for supporting my small family business. We thank you. I love you. Mwah. See you online.